Hello, hello, Pundicast fam. Welcome back to another episode where we dive into the coolest corners of crypto tech and innovation. I'm your host, Gabby, and today we've got an exciting guest, Josh Benaron. He's the brilliant mind behind Irys. Josh, welcome to the show. And first thing first, give us a little self-intro for everyone here wondering, who are you?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, so obviously I'm Josh. I got into crypto about 5 years ago now. I actually started Irys back in early 2021. It was actually called Bundler back then. I started Irys back when I was still studying computer science back in the UK. And Irys initially began as an L2 for Arweave. So Arweave being this permanent storage chain, and we ended up launching that around kind of August time. I dropped out of school. I dropped out of school back then, and then we took Arweave from about 10,000 transactions a day to about 15 million a day. Onboarded about 300 plus projects, and then about a year ago made the decision to go and build this L1, which is, if you go to our website now, which is irys.xyz, you'll see Irys is an L1, and we kind of had a couple focuses, but one is that we wanted to solve a lot of the problems that we saw when we were building this L2. And we wanted to really build this kind of high performance data network that lets you store large amounts of data kind of very cheaply. And then our second focus is not just like how do we enable people to store data. It's actually how do we allow people to do things with their data as well. So how do you allow people to store the data, monetize the data, perhaps compute on it, train on it, etc. And our focus is about bootstrapping some of those utilities. So yeah, it's kind of the high level.
And what's that journey been like?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. Yeah, so I've been a founder, obviously, for Irys now for 4 years. It's been very painful, obviously. Anyone who's been in crypto for anything more than, I think, 1 year, I think you'll experience some degree of pain. But
For sure.
yeah, we had a very successful, 2 or 3 years with building this L2, and then then had a very kind of busy heads down period when we started building this L1, which is just a very time consuming thing. And now we're getting to the point where we're actually going to be launching the network, launching the token, and we're going to be like really ramping up on, getting people on board. So yeah.
Right. And as you mentioned, if you've been in crypto for at least this past year, right? Like there's a lot of ups and downs. Like it's a big journey, right? So if you had to summarize like one big lesson you've learned from building in crypto, like what would it be?
So many. I don't want to be a kind of cliche, but perseverance is like the number one thing. I actually think, just from like a founder's perspective, like, yes, perseverance is one thing. You need that regardless if you're an employee at a company or you're a founder. I think from a founder's perspective, I will say that if the most important thing is about staying alive, so that means staying lean, not spending much money. During the bear market, we were very, very tight. And even now we're kind of, I always lean very conservative. So I think that is, that's kind of the main like logistical lesson that I learned. What else? I think you have to be like very agile to be building a business in crypto. I mean, if you just look back at the last 4 years, the businesses that make money or do things that are interesting change pretty much. I mean, right now it's changing like almost every 3 months. There's some common ones, right? There's Hyperliquid, there's Pump, but then every 3 months there's kind of just a change of what kind of who is making money, who's not. And then you can, on a 4 year time horizon, right? There was NFTs with OpenSea, and now OpenSea is not doing as well. Yeah. So I think the other thing I've learned is there's just a massive amount of agility required within crypto, more than is needed definitely in the Web2 world. I don't think there's like pivoting is not so much of a need within Web2 as much as it is in crypto.
Yeah, sure. All right. So before we dive more deep into Irys, let's play a small game just to brighten up the mood. The game is called Crypto Confessions. Okay. So I'll say a statement and you say confess if it's true or pass if not. All right. Ready?
Okay.
Okay. I've deployed code past midnight that broke something major.
Oh, confess. Yeah.
I once explained blockchain using food analogies.
Pass.
I pretend to understand all crypto memes, but sometimes I have no idea.
Pass. I just say I don't know.
I have all my crypto slang decoded and I use it every day. For example, I wake up and text GM to my friends.
Oh, confess.
I bought an NFT that I regretted.
I confess.
Yeah, I think we all have.
Yeah.
All right. That was fun. Let's go now diving deep into Irys. Can you explain really what Irys is and what problem it's solving in the crypto space, like in very simple terms?
Yeah. So put very simply, Irys is an L1. It's a data chain, which really just means it's a chain optimized to store data. And the goal for Irys, so there are two goals for Irys, as I said, right? One is, we're basically building a high performance data network, which means that you can store large amounts of data. So let's say you're an AI company, you're a company trying to train models, for example, then you can actually store some of your data sets, store some of your models, store the actual model weights on Irys, much cheaper than traditional providers like S3. It's cheaper than existing Web3 solutions like Filecoin and Walrus and Arweave. And then the second kind of big focus for us is actually not how do we just build this data network, but it's also how do we kind of support the data network with different utilities. And the analogy I use is AWS, where people go to sometimes use AWS to store data, but then that data plugs into these like different services within the AWS ecosystem. And for us, it's very much the same, where we want people, yes, to store their data on Irys, but then we also want people to monetize their data on Irys, their IP on Irys. We also want people to compute on their data using some of the primitives on Irys as well. So that's kind of the high level, but we're a chain focused on data. Maybe that's the simplest way to put it.
Right. And what makes you guys different? Like what are the standout features?
Yeah. So if we look at just the data network side, we are the cheapest and fastest solution by an order of magnitude. So this is kind of one of the big problems that we saw, was that using all of these data networks or data chains today was really painful. And we wanted to build one from scratch that fixed a lot of those problems. And so that's one. So we're much cheaper and over 100 times cheaper than Walrus. We're much faster as well. So I guess that's one. And then two is, again, like on that second point, the actual like standout features are these utilities that exist on the network that actually let you do things. And one of them, for example, is we have a data marketplace on Irys that lets you buy, and like if you have a valuable data set, you can go and sell this to a bunch of different AI companies natively on Irys on chain. And those utilities are kind of where the moat is for Irys. That's where we really differentiate, because most networks just allow you to store data, but our network allows you to actually kind of do things with your data.
Okay, so having explained that, because walk the listeners through a real world use case of Irys in action.
Yeah. So if we talk about the let's talk about an AI use case, I guess. Right? I was deciding between AI and non-AI use case. Let's say your training models, or doing inference, doesn't matter. It's the same thing, really. You can essentially use Irys. Let's say you're actually running inference. Let's do that. Let's use that example. You can actually like store the results on Irys. You store the inference results. Or the other approach is, if you're doing what is known as RAG, or essentially kind of what Perplexity does, where it's like inputting kind of live information into the AI result. And then you can essentially retrieve data from Irys to kind of inject into the kind of result, so to speak. So you can have like a live or contextual data in the result. So that's kind of one example. And when you're uploading data, it's kind of you're using your private key. So yeah. But that's kind of fun, that live example. We have some outside of AI, we have some actually DeSci use cases where we have a company called SciHub, which is like a 5 million MAU application that uses Irys to store a bunch of like science papers, and it's actually a massive application that has like a ton of users, mostly used in China. But what they do is they essentially store those papers on Irys, and then when people search for them, it essentially like searches natively on Irys for like different kind of papers, different things. It performs like a context search essentially. And so those are a couple of use cases that we
Okay, and speaking AI, how do AI agents fit into the Irys ecosystem? Do they?
Yeah. So we work with several agents. A lot of the use cases we see are more using Irys as like a fundamental infrastructure for those agents, and that involves more using Irys kind of as a memory layer, or kind of the place where you can store the memory of an agent, and that allows essentially an agent to retain a memory and self-improve, but also it actually kind of enables a degree of composability for memory as well, where memory can be kind of shared and monetized between different agents. So we see that, and then we see some use cases where they use Irys as a way to actually communicate between agents.
Mhm.
So you actually kind of publish a message on Irys, and then another agent will kind of listen for that. And then that allows this kind of inter-agent communication, because we're kind of moving to a world where we have multiple agents, and Irys essentially acts as this kind of permissionless common kind of communication layer. So those are a couple of use cases. There are some as well, others as well. I think over time we might start to see actually agents doing things on Irys as a chain, because we have our own VM. So there might be some like DeFi activities on Irys as a chain, and agents might be performing different kind of actions to maybe access yield on the network and things like that as well.
All right. And how do you ensure data permanence and integrity in Irys?
Yeah, so Irys as a network supports both permanent data, so pay once, store forever. And we also support a non-permanent. So if you want to pay monthly, like a non-permanent form. The way that we support permanent data is economic way is when you pay to store data, you essentially put funds to the side into this big pool of capital. And the idea is that over the next 100 years, those tokens will slowly be released to pay for miners' costs, miners' expenses. So that's kind of how you make it sustainable, is you kind of lock tokens away and then you release them gradually to pay expenses on the network. And then we have a very custom consensus protocol, which essentially makes miners prove that they're storing that data over time as well.
And what's the most misunderstood thing about data chains or Irys itself that you wish more people knew?
So many things. I think one is they don't have any users. And I think that's just not the case when we're working with, some Web3 teams, some Web2 teams. Like we do actually have demand and real usage. So I think that would probably be number one. And then if there was a technical one, it would be that data chains can't be as cheap as they are. Everyone thinks they'll be very expensive, but they're actually much, much cheaper than anything that exists today. Those are two things which I have to talk about every week at this point.
Okay, it's good that you get it out. And if Irys was a person, how would you describe its personality?
Wow,
Fun
I'm just going to
question.
project. I'm about to project my own personality, my own personality onto it. I think we're fun. If I'm actually talking from like a brand perspective as well, like I think our brand is like very fun, and I also think if you're working with the team, it's fun. So I think I don't know, it's fun. A good answer.
All right, so let's pass that into describing Irys with emojis only. Which ones would you pick?
Damn. That's a good one. Look at the mergers. It's a great question.
No
Probably
pressure, no pressure.
no. I feel no pressure. I'm actually just trying to work it out. Probably the one where they're like sticking their tongue out
Right?
with like their eyes shut. That one. Yeah.
What impact do you hope Irys will have on the broader crypto ecosystem?
Yeah, so I think for the broader crypto ecosystem, I want Irys to be one of those use cases that have a ton of revenue that is outside of kind of pure speculation. I think that's another misconception people have, is that crypto will only ever make money in the world of speculation, and I kind of disagree with that point. And yeah, I want Irys to be kind of one of those big protocols that demonstrate that you don't have to be a kind of a speculative kind of project in some way.
And I'm curious, from the many founders we've spoken to, they all plan differently. They all see the future differently. Some answer this question with, we don't plan ahead for longer than 2 weeks, 2 months, some for years. So having said that, how do you see Irys evolving in the next 2 to 3 years, or is that too far away?
Yeah, I definitely don't plan that far ahead. I think I probably plan maybe 12 months ahead, but I can definitely answer the question. I think if I look at where Irys needs to be by then, I think we want to have a very strong foothold with kind of Web2 users, I think is the big thing, because I think broadly, like that's where a lot of demand lives in general. So I think in 2 to 3 years time, like that's what I'd say is kind of success for us, is we have a kind of a large user base with real revenue. And yeah.
And if you weren't building in crypto, like what space or problem would you be tackling?
I refuse to answer that. I would never be outside of crypto.
Nice.
Crypto is my number one.
I think that once you start working, crypto Web3, you just don't want to go anywhere else.
I'm never leaving. I'm never ever leaving crypto.
I think
Ever.
that's the right answer. That's what everyone wants to hear, right?
Definitely my shareholders.
Yeah, you see, like you previously gave it to us in layman's terms what Irys is. Like, I definitely got you, but let's play a tiny game. Like, explain it to my grandma. Like, can you explain Irys to an 85-year-old woman who still uses a flip phone? No hate on my Grammy, okay? Like, she uses a flip phone because she continues losing her phone. Have you been on the like on the stage where you need
Sounds like
to explain?
sounds like.
No. But have you been in that scenario where you need to explain like an older person what you do and
I
make
mean,
them understand?
I've kind of had to explain to my parents and to like family members. So I've been in the situation, and usually I fail miserably, to be honest. But how would I explain it? That's such a. I will say, an 85-year-old, that is a big gap. That's a very big gap because they have no understanding of the cloud. They have no like. There's a big gap there. But okay, I guess. If I really wanted to abstract it, like we allow a cheap way for everyone to share data with each other. That's probably the easiest way to
Yeah, yeah.
share information with each other.
I think they would definitely understand that. Very good.
Yeah.
And how about you give us a small live demo? Would you like that? Just so people have an idea.
Yeah, sure. I can demo Lofty. So Lofty is like a Google Drive application, but not actually Google Drive, but built on top of built on top of Irys, and it kind of demonstrates some of the functionality. So I can
All right, let's check it out.
I can
You
do
can
that.
share your screen.
Yeah, it's being weird. There we go. Cool. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Okay, that's Lofty, right?
Yes. So you can log in. So this currently does support Solana. So you can log in natively using different, like different, like different wallets basically. And then you can just store any kind of data here. So if you want to upload, let's say, an image publicly, so it's publicly available, then you can choose a specific image. I'm gonna try and choose an appropriate one that is not a screenshot. It's just full of screenshots.
Everyone's phone is full of screenshots.
Yeah, I think this is a picture of me. Let's do this one. Like 99% sure this is a picture of me. Fine. Cool. And then this is the one that I uploaded. And there we go. It's a picture of me. So what's happened here is that this is literally been stored on Irys. So if we go here, you'll now see this is basically like an address to the transaction that stores the data here. I don't know if you can't see at the top, but the URL. Yeah, so now it's like stored on the chain, and then if we go to, I'm probably not showing it the right screen, but I think I can just go to this. If we go to then we'll see now this transaction is like in the Explorer, and you can see it. And you can see that it was uploaded to
that transaction in the Explorer. We're just
sorry
you right now.
Oh, you just damn. Never mind. That's we can cut this and do it again. Here we go. Can you see it now?
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you can see it in the Explorer as well. So this is actually a transaction on the chain. And you can see it was uploaded from Lofty, and it was really easy, right? It was just like three clicks. Yeah, that's kind of like one of the native experiences that you can kind of build on Irys.
Yeah, pretty easy. Cool. I think very logical to use, right? Thank you for sharing that. And so now let's move on and talk about achievements. What's next? Let's talk wins. What are some major milestones you guys have achieved since you launched?
Well, we obviously achieved milestones at different stages, right? We built the L2. We had a bunch of success there. We were doing over 95% of transaction volume on the network. The L1, I think getting to testnet was a big milestone from about a few months ago. And then the next big milestone for us is, I guess, when token, i.e. mainnet. which is going to be coming actually relatively soon. So yeah, I'm super excited for that because not so much because of launching the token, but because once you get to mainnet, there's a lot more ability to actually onboard more people because people actually want to use a product that is like at mainnet. So that's kind of the big focus for us.
And talking about that, are there any upcoming partnerships or collabs that you're especially proud or excited to see?
We have some interesting ones. I'm not going to share the alpha now. That's definitely not for free, but pay me maybe. But no, we have a bunch of different partnerships coming up. We have a lot of focus on getting like these really big use cases onto Irys. So I think things to expect is, interesting partnerships, but also ones that really like growing the amount of data on the network, growing those actually like key KPIs, key metrics that really matter for the network. So it's a very big focus running up to mainnet.
And any exciting features or updates coming soon?
Yeah, I mean, beyond going to mainnet, that's a pretty good that's a pretty good feature. On a more technical level, we're going to enable people to store data for different durations of time. So right now we only support 5 days and permanent, but we're going to be adding a month, year, and different durations for storing the data pretty soon. So that'll be a big unlock as well. And then we have a bunch of tooling that improves the UX and the developer experience as well on the network. So perhaps less sexy, but like very crucial to actually building a kind of robust and usable network.
And what was your "we made it" moment so far?
I mean, I feel like I've had many "we've made it" and we have like we're so not back, like we're so back and so not back moments. I think when we got like the first kind of big use cases on Irys and L1. So in the last kind of year or so, I think that was. Did I just freeze?
No.
Okay, damn. Okay, we'll cut that and start again. I just froze in my end, so I was like, damn. So, what was I saying? So I think we've had many moments where we were like, we're so back, and then we're so not back over the years. But I think in more recent times, I think when we started onboarding a lot of users, when we launched the actual testnet a few months ago, we started getting actually like really valuable use cases where people are actually willing to pay as well in real money, was like a very kind of big moment for us because it was a lot of work. It was kind of a year of work to get to that point and almost kind of 3 years prior to that as well. And we kind of had this kind of, at least signal that people really want to use the thing that we're building. So I think that was definitely like one of the better moments. Sorry?
And pay for it.
And pay for it. Correct. Yeah. That was the key thing. Yeah.
All right. So let's do a little game before we finish. Another one, the last one, the Web3 forecaster. I'll give you some bold or odd predictions. You tell me if it's possible or no chance. Okay. Gonna give you 4. On-chain data storage will replace the centralized cloud in less than 5 years.
We'll have both. There's nuance.
Right. Very conservative. AI agents will negotiate smart contracts autonomously.
Yes.
Governments will use programmable data chains for record keeping.
Yes.
I'll create my first D app by the end of 2025.
As in you? Yeah, no way. No.
Good one. Okay, that was fun. Josh, before we wrap up, here's some extra questions. I know that you don't plan that far ahead. We talked about this, but what does success look like for you and for Irys in 10 years?
In 10 years? I think 10 years, I want Irys to be, and preferably before 10 years, but I think I want Irys to be sustainable. Mm-hmm. Like I want the network to be like self-sustaining is the way that I think about it. So that means having a ton of, real revenue on the network that is like actually, funding the network. So I think that's probably the main thing. And I would honestly just want to see it have global reach. I would want to see a lot of teams across the whole globe and also institutions using Irys. I think those two things will mean that, Irys is mega successful and I should be very happy.
Okay. And if the average person was using Irys, daily without even realizing, what would that look like?
So Irys is an infrastructure project, right? But there are definitely going to be applications that use Irys in some way. So Lofty and some other kind of applications as well. So I think through some of those apps, you might use something that uses Irys in the background. I think that is, that's kind of our focus. Okay.
And where can people learn more or get involved with Irys?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it kind of depends on what you want to do. But I guess the short answer is go to the website, Irys XYZ. If you're looking to build, there's obviously the build section. If you're just kind of in the community and you want to just vibe a little bit, then all of our social links are in the social part of our website, and you can Discord is where we have most of our community. So you can go there and chat to some of the people in our community. I'd say we have a really good community, very supportive, and yeah. So yeah, that's probably and if you want to chat to me as well, I'm online 24/7. So yeah, just feel free to ping me. I'm Josh_Benaran at like in every place, Twitter, Telegram,
Yeah, that's what I was
Discord.
going to ask because we know that a lot of users like to speak directly to founders, get their questions going, like if you are a reachable founder, for
Yeah,
example. So that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course, yeah. So same name everywhere.
All right. And is there anything you want to add, message or anything else you want to share?
No, no, I think we covered a lot, but yeah, definitely get involved with the community. We have a lot of really interesting partnerships, updates on the tech side and product side as well. Obviously running up to mainnet. So yeah, absolutely get involved.
Well, we'd love to have you back once we see more updates. And thank you so much for your time today. That's a wrap on this week's podcast. And huge thanks to Josh again and the Irys team for joining us. And to our listeners, don't forget to like, follow, and ping us with your thoughts. So until next time, and stay curious and unchained. Thank you.